expect to be able to...
When everything else fails, and they got nothing else, they're gonna have to go to fake alien invasion.
It's a mind-blowing situation. For the public, it's like, oh, a conspiracy theory, it's entertaining. But if you're actually in a responsible position and you find out that there's a whole secret government program that you don't know about, it's a shock.
This report comes from a shadowy Pentagon department that was shut down in 2012.
The disclosure movement has been hijacked by people parroting the narrative and the script being written by these black projects. I would say 90+% of everything that's going to come out is false.
There's going to be no more of these near misses.
The most widely seen UFO right now is not alien, it's actually ours.
It's a great cover story for all kinds of criminal activities. Blame it on the aliens, right?
If we are being visited by interdimensional beings, we should know about it.
This has the big disadvantage of the truth being much more unbelievable than the fiction.
It's the crash retrievals that are the Rosetta Stone for solving the UFO cover-up.
This is Operation Failsafe.
The implications of this is the difference between extinction level civilization versus one that's going to take off to the stars.
Oh, what the hell?
Welcome back to Third Phase of Moon. Blake Cousins, we got a special report for you. UFO Endgame, again, still taking the #1 spots on iTunes and Amazon Prime. You just watched the trailer for it, and we've got a special guest for you today. Retired FBI agent John DeSouza, known as the X-Men, is joining us right now live from Arizona. John, appreciate you joining us right here at Third Phase of Moon.
Thanks so much, Blake. It is awesome to be back with you guys for another Cousins Brothers production at Third Phase of Moon. Very good stuff.
Absolutely. You know, it is amazing. It's a wild ride right now. Could you imagine, we're just with you months ago over there in Arizona shooting this documentary, and what's transpired since is basically like you guys were fortune tellers. There's no scripting going on in our documentary. We're just coming in with the hard questions, and what you guys are saying is so relevant to what's going on right now. What do you think, John, is the real end game and the plan behind the deep black budgets and these black government operatives and their narrative?
Well, you know, Blake, this is why I'm smiling all the time, because Endgame UFO was so prescient. I mean, it's just in such a short time, all the predictions that have been made in this movie, in UFO Endgame, are coming true right before our eyes. It's the reason why this movie is getting so much attention in its wide release, and it's just unbelievable. The coincidence, I mean, if you can call it that, the coincidence of all of these things coming true at the same time. I mean, what just happened with and you guys may be able to help me with this word, with the government announcing that Oumuamua, the
Muamua. It's called the Oumuamua. It's a Hawaiian word meaning scout, like it's a scout.
Yes,
ship.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, all of these things are calculated. It is the Oumuamua, and it is a giant space object, cigar shaped. I don't remember how long it is. It's probably, you know, a couple of miles long. It's huge. It's a huge object that is been announced by the government that it's coming back to Earth, and it's probably going to be coming back to Earth and releasing probes.
That was on Lester Holt. That's right. It's crazy. You have Avi Loeb, who's the Galileo project originator, but now he's jumped on the ship with the Pentagon, working with them, and they're making these announcements or insinuating that there's a massive mothership on its way, but with no evidence to back it up. No evidence. Where are the photos? What do we got here? It's crazy. Let's just show a really quick clip from UFO Endgame with John DeSouza. It's pretty explosive what he has to say in this documentary. Guys, check this out.
There's going to be no more of these near misses. Near misses are already considered a hostile action in a military kind of milieu. It already is. But what we're going to have is we're going to have direct military action from these UAPs, these Tic Tacs, which are of all shapes and sizes, by the way. And we will have a huge hostile action against an entire battleship or many airliners as well. Airliners, and we're going to see huge consequences from that because they have to do it at this point.
Man, we're back with John DeSouza, and let me tell you, when we went over there in Arizona and started to ask the questions, and your whole vigor in the way you present yourself and the information that you found through all the work you've been doing for decades now. Again, what is the most important thing that people need to understand about how you say is the false alien invasion?
People need to immerse themselves in this information, the information from Dr. Greer, from A Third Phase of Moon, from John DeSouza, because they need to educate themselves so they can be ready to defend themselves against these grand deceptions that are coming up right now, because these deceptions are going to lead to some major destruction. And as I announced this recently, that we are right now facing the next step in this great UAP psychological operation. The next step is going to be, as I said in UFO Endgame, it's going to be direct destructive action against our cities, against our by these UAPs. People are starting to get wise to this deception. They're starting to not be impressed by the whole UAP phenomena. And that's what I think we're looking at in the very short term. And that's what we need to prepare for. And we need to prepare our minds by being able to tell the difference between these man-made vehicles. They're all shapes and sizes. Some of them are cigar shaped, some of them are mothership, some of them are just those little Tic Tacs, those little oval shaped kind of ships that are really top secret drones. That's what they all are. That possibly use anti-gravity in their makeup as well, but they're not genuine UFOs of a supernatural nature, of an extraterrestrial, extra-dimensional nature. And the way that we know that is because they do not have the ability that real UFOs have to actually disappear, reappear, to shapeshift, to be filled with light, because they are not in a sort of static state of matter. They are real UFOs, are actually made, they're not just silver metal kind of craft. They're made out of shifting states of matter, and they're able to change. They're able to change their shapes. They're able to change their appearance, and they are usually filled with light because they are a plasma-like sort of substance. And that's what I've been telling people, and that's how people have to distinguish real UFOs from these UAPs that we're being assaulted with all over the place. And right now, throughout our nation, this is all being discussed in congressional subcommittees and Senate subcommittees as well in the United States Senate. And they think that we don't know what's going on. And what they're doing in these subcommittees, as we've been told by a couple of different congressmen, what they're doing in all these subcommittees is that they're showing top secret files and videos of these UAPs committing what we call near misses against our FAA regarded aircraft. They're doing these near misses all over the place. But now we have the government that has told us, the government in this country, also governments in other countries like Russia, have all the difference now that's happening is that they've all been saying, oh, we've been shooting down these UFOs, these UAPs. We've been shooting them down. And we're not going to show you the the remains. We're not going to show you ourselves, shooting them down. Just trust us, bro.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah, can you believe it? It's like they're just saying, trust us, we shot them down, but don't worry about it. We're not going to show you the debris. We may never see the debris. And I agree, we will probably never see the debris. It's a no-brainer coming from Washington that they're not going to give us disclosure. But what's interesting as well with UFO Endgame to disclosure, look at the poster for the film documentary itself. It shows a jet fighter engaging some kind of cylindrical metallic object. This was conceptual design that we did prior to this balloon debacle and these drones or balloons being shot down in the water. It seems that, again, UFO Endgame is ahead of the game here in regards to bringing disclosure and the information that people need to hear. When we're watching this documentary and people are giving us feedback, it's kind of, there's so much that's in this documentary that it kind of makes your brain go into all these different directions, because there's so much other than just somebody's filming something blurry in the sky, or some kind of object or unknown mundane stuff. We're actually dealing with something much bigger, and that is the cover-up of technology and contact possibly with ET beings not of this world. This is important stuff. And we spoke with Tim Burchett.
He's going to have to leak it. He's going to have to leak some stuff, photographs.
Would that be in danger with breaking the NDAs?
Yeah,
again,
absolutely. They risk going to jail.
But what if what they're revealing is an illegal operation? Therefore, it'd be covering something that's illegal. So then there wouldn't be any.
You trust the crooks to give you a fair trial?
Congressman Tim Burchett out of Knoxville, Tennessee, and he's really frustrated. He talks about how there's blackmail within the government themselves to keep this secret. That's a blackmail cover-up where somebody might know something, but they're not going to share it because they got something dirty on them. This is the way the politics is run. What do you think about that? Or some of these congressmen and senators want to come forward, but once you're involved at that high level of government agency, you're subject to being ridiculed by these people, and people are spying on you and tapping your phones, things along these lines.
Yeah, and here's the part that Tim Burchett kind of implied but couldn't quite explicitly say, and it's this: the reason why now we're seeing a lot of different congressmen and senators that want to get in on the great UAP psychological operation, and the reason why they're lining up to get involved in these subcommittees and all of these things is because of money and resources. This UAP operation is being largely dominated by the military-industrial complex. Well, because they need a war, they need this kind of global conflict. Now, the military-industrial complex does not belong to the United States. It is global. It is global, and they are in our Congress and in our Senate right now, telling these congressmen and these senators, "Hey, if you support this, the burgeoning reality of these UAPs, we will get you money and resources." Because why? Because they have it all. The military-industrial complex has all the money and resources. So the congressmen aren't coming and getting involved in the UAPs because they believe it's good for humanity. It's because they are going to get a lot of money and resources out of this if they get involved in the UAP, because that's what the UAP's operation is handing out to people all over, not just congressmen and senators, but to various people throughout, even in alternative communities like the UFO community. And they are coming out here and handing out attention and resources to people who will work with them to promote the fear and promote all the terror, like we said in the movie, all the terror of these UAPs, because they need that to ratchet up further and further and further. And that's why we're approaching these catastrophes that we talked about in UFO Endgame. It truly is the endgame that we're facing here, guys. We're in the last few minutes of the quarter, and this is ticking down. and it's going to erupt very quickly. And if people don't have their heads on straight, they don't understand the things that we're trying to say in this movie, then they're going to be caught in a really bad circumstance, and they're going to go crazy when this happens.
People have to, yeah, absolutely. People need to be aware, and some of the things that we bring to you in UFO Endgame, it may kind of shock you when you watch this, of the implications. And let's take another quick look at UFO Endgame, an exclusive right here at Third Phase Moon. Another clip from John DeSouza. Watch this.
So
are we engaging them with firepower? Are we shooting at them?
No, we're not.
Corbell was saying that we actually have been firing upon these UAPs as of a month or so ago, as of a while ago, and that we've been engaging them in that military aggressive stance. And Congressman Tim actually said the opposite. He said, no, there's no way that we would fire upon these UAPs, just for the sheer technological superiority of these vehicles. I mean, can you imagine getting one of these vehicles really pissed at you? If you're just in a conventional jet propulsion engine plane, you know, it wouldn't be good. It just wouldn't be good.
Again, it is amazing. What you were just saying earlier makes so much sense, because what better way to raise money for the military to create defense weapons against the unknown, when in reality they know exactly what it is, but it's going to come in and perceive that this is something from outer space and we don't know what it is. But we got to step up our technology. We got to step up the money to defend against this. Is this how they're going to roll out maybe some of the technology via a war machine and then trickle it? Is this the end game, to maybe bring some of this technology up front and make it public through war against the unknown?
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's a whole nother area of speculation that is very likely to occur. You know, they could say, hey, you know, military industrial complex is going to defend you. We're going to, against this terrible invasion that was predicted by von Braun, you know, way back in like 1950 or something like that.
Man, it's time to buckle up. What's going to happen in 2023 has just begun, and what a great start. UFO Endgame to Disclosure, again, is breaking the top #1 on iTunes and Amazon. And just recently, you're telling me your books are at the top bestsellers on Amazon. People are very interested in this topic, and let's just tell everybody how they could reach out to you, how they could get your books, John.
Yeah, to get my books, the Extra Dimensionals in particular, which have predicted all the things that are going on right now. It's just on my website, johnthamabooks.com, johnthamabooks.com, and that's where my books are available, so that people can get the Extra Dimensionals and really educate themselves on what is about to happen and keep on happening now as we enter this final phase in UFO Endgame.
Wow, appreciate it. John DeSouza, retired FBI agent. Again, #1 bestseller on Amazon with his book. Guys, check it out. The link is in the description below. We've got more updates and interviews. We've got Dr. Greer coming up this week. And don't forget, some UFO videos. That's what Third Phase of Moon's all about. I know it's been a little slow with the UFO videos coming in, but we're only going to show you the stuff that we can't explain. And we've got some good ones coming up for you very shortly. And if you captured anything amazing, submit it to my email. It's in the description as well. Keep your eyes on the skies, everybody. Be safe. Blake Cousins. We'll see you next time.
When everything else fails and they got nothing else, they're going to have to go to fake alien invasion.
It's a mind-blowing situation. For the public, it's like, oh, a conspiracy theory, it's entertaining. But if you're actually in a responsible position and you find out that there's a whole secret government program that you don't know about, it's a shock.
This report comes from a shadowy Pentagon department that was shut down in 2012.
The disclosure movement has been hijacked by people parroting the narrative and the script being written by these black projects. I would say 90+% of everything that's going to come out is false.
There's going to be no more of these near misses.
The most widely seen UFO right now is not alien, it's actually ours.
It's a great cover story for all kinds of criminal activities. Blame it on the aliens, right?
If we are being visited by interdimensional beings, we should know about it.
This has the big disadvantage of the truth being much more unbelievable than the fiction.
It's the crash retrievals that are the Rosetta Stone for solving the UFO cover-up.
This is Operation Failsafe.
The implications of this is the difference between an extinction-level civilization versus one that's going to take off to the stars.
Oh, what the hell?